Welcome everyone to Here for the Horses. Glad you are here for the horses. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a great holiday. I did. I like to take it easy and not stress out about stuff, so that's how I roll. And it went really well. Nice to see all you here. So we have kind of a big day. I already shared the book that we're going to be taking a look at today, and I know that we have looked at it once already. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Okay. But one thing I want to talk about, is that a poodle? You have a poodle? Oh my gosh, how cute. What's the poodle's name? Tell me.
Connor.
Connor?
Yep, I have two standard poodles and two Belgian Malinois.
Well, that's a combo. That's a combo right there. Poodles are cool. Oh, I love them so much. Oh my gosh. Hi, look at that afro, baby. Yes.
He needs growth.
You gotta work that haircut.
That's right.
Love it. How cool. What's your other poodle's name?
Kaya.
Kaya. Awesome. I know a couple poodles. One's named Opal, one's named Pearl. Aren't those cute?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by dogs, guys.
Sorry.
Okay, so what I want to share with you first, if you guys haven't had the chance to watch the video that I put up of Sue doing the jaw release on Boon. That was a pretty fun. Ooh, where did I put that? That's in here, I think. That was a pretty fun video, so we'll watch it because, oh, actually, you know what? It's not that quick, but I'll make it go faster. So let's take a look at that though, because it was interesting. This, the follow-up that Melinda also put up was really interesting, so you guys should check those out. Here we go. Boon here, and he does not like the jaw release, so I'm gonna show you guys how different tips and tricks on how to fix it. So let's see what he does with Sue first. Upper, lower, both. So just pay attention to how he gets away from this. He's good at that move. Nancy, I feel like this is similar to probably what Bunny does to you. That's his little move there. There you go. Okay, good. So let's do the other side and see what he does. Really relaxed into that. That was awesome. First time I've ever been able to do a lower. Nice. He knew I was watching. He heard my voice. Right. Auntie Erin here ain't gonna put up with that. So he really doesn't like the top. Yeah. Why would that be? I don't know. Okay, so it just carried on like that. So as you can see, that's very reactive to the jaw release. I mean, the reason Sue obviously already knew this, but I saw this when Sue and I had a one-on-one session. It became very apparent that he was not going to allow that without some tricks. Okay, so what I did is jumped in there. I don't know where I did. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So I'll just let you watch the first minute, or so. Yeah. I don't like this, so do the first one. I always keep my face back and I got a hold of the side of his cheek here. Okay. That's super important. So because he throws his face around, I kind of hooked my finger in there. Good boy. It's a good boy. Just make sure to keep your face back. I'm standing back a little bit more so he doesn't think he can squeeze through me and throw me around. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Good, I like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip to the top. Oh, he has a pretty nose, that's the problem. He gave up. Gotta ride the train sometimes. He's not gonna release. I'm not. And then he just stood there like that. Okay, so I just want you to see what I had to go through. Keep your face back. I'm standing back. It wasn't easy. When I flipped to the top, he had a different opinion. I like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip to the top. Oh, he has a big nose, that's the problem. Gotta ride the train sometimes. He's still not gonna release. I'm not gonna. He's gonna stand there like a statue. I hate you guys. That might be one side. So now I'm rubbing because he's just walking. Loosen your arm up if he's not. I would not submit. So he's obviously resisting right now. I'm in the position I want to be in, but he's going, I'm not going to release this. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that was the beginning of success for that particular move. Okay. So the other side was similar, but he didn't fight as long. So a couple things about that. When it's that extreme, with him, the lower jaw was easier. So work on the lower jaw first. Get some sort of relationship going where you can get something accomplished. Okay. You're going to get something accomplished. So start with what's easier. Don't go for the one where he's headbanging, right? Go for the lower where he hates it. You know, he doesn't want to do it, but he is kind of allowing it because he's not putting the effort in to get you off it. And then work your way to the most extreme. So work your way to the most extreme. Both the top were pretty extreme, but by the time I got to the other side on the top, he didn't even bother. He didn't bother because he was like, I know this broad now. She ain't gonna put up with it. She's just gonna do it. Okay. So he had a lot of tricks up his sleeve though. One, when they throw their head around like that, it's pretty aggressive. That's a pretty aggressive move. So the most important things, hand on the halter. Now, I want to always keep myself soft and calm. Okay. I can generally keep myself calm, soft sometimes, because you have to have enough rigidity in your arm to where their head doesn't come into your face. That's the reason you do that. That's the reason you never hold on to the halter. He would have whacked me in the face if I was holding on. I mean, sorry, the lead rope. If I was holding on a lead rope, he'd have 6 to 8 inches of slack. He'd be all over me. Okay. When you have the halter on the side of their face, they still, you saw how much he moved me around, but I can lock my arm and it still kind of protects me. Okay. Really important for safety. And then the moment he kind of stops doing that, I want to make a conscious decision to just kind of, just kind of relax a little bit because I don't want to still be here. Right? I don't want that tension on him. Okay, there's Marge. Marge has entered. So I want to go with them. If they decide to be relaxed, I'm gonna, okay, excellent. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna tell them they're a good horse. I'm gonna relax my hand. I still got my hand there, don't I? I'm not a fool, okay, because they'll play that game too. But I want to relax so that they feel that I relaxed also. Okay. The other thing he liked to do is throw his head up and over Sue, up and over her. Okay. You just have to adjust your body to a position where they can't do that. So I told Sue to stand more back at the shoulder and kind of face his face. Instead of standing parallel, perpendicular to him, stand more like at an angle, more parallel to him so that he won't swing around like that. That's just a position thing, okay? And you're gonna have to kind of figure that out. And then he was like, once I got my finger in there, he's like, I don't care, it's still not gonna release this. I'm still not going to. So I just hung out with him for a little bit. And I was like, that's fine. You know, give them a moment to do it on their own without adding something else, right? We don't always want to be adding another trick. Just give them a little bit of time and see if they will go like, okay, this isn't too bad. Okay, all right, okay. And then they'll normally release. He was not planning on doing that. So I added a little bit of just finger movement, which I don't normally teach because you don't need to normally do it. Okay, that also didn't work. Okay, that didn't work either. So then I took my finger and I rubbed it on the little ridgy part of his mouth. Okay, on the little ridgy part in there and then on the top. So I tried a different spot in his mouth and that did work. And, you know, I also kind of went out to the lip. I did that. Okay. So I'm just going to try stuff. We're both in a relaxed state. You know, I'm just going to try some different things, help him out. I could have gone up here and seen if that helped. Gone into the gums gently. Okay. So those are all extra little things that you can try. But most important, you're going to keep yourself safe and keep your hand on the halter. If he were to pop up off the ground in the front, depending on, I might allow that once where I keep going with it. But if he does it 2 times, generally that means they're gonna get bigger and bigger. And so I would have called it there and not done that. And then just stopped, maybe gone to the other side, maybe worked his face a little bit and then tried it again. Okay. So I don't run from a fight, but I also don't, you know, I don't get in a lot of fights. So I definitely took him to the edge though, didn't I? Like he was at the edge. He was close to, we're about to go over. And I thought, you know what? I feel like this horse he's smart because he figured out how to not do it. And I feel like in general, when you get yourself in a good position, they're also lazy enough to not really want to get in too much of a fight. Now, if you have the type of horse that will black out, then that is not a method you would use. Okay, so Georgia and Chester, I would not do that with. But he's old quarter horse gelding. Okay, so I might push him a little harder than I would push my 2. Okay, so you have to kind of think for yourself on that, like know their personalities enough to be like, I think I can push this a little bit more, or don't use something else. Okay, so that was pretty fun to do. And Sue, how's it going now? Why don't you unmute?
So I did it the next day and he was good on the lower, still kind of obstinate on the upper. And then when I went to the other side, he wouldn't let me near him at all.
He was like, she's not here, sorry.
No, she's not doing this. We did a half, so I'll try again tomorrow, starting with the half I couldn't get. And you know, I'm patient with him. He's young and he didn't have a lot of handling, and he's come a long way since I started riding him, and even further since I started massaging him. So I have time. He has time. We'll work through it.
Exactly. Sounds like a plan. Okay, very cool. The next thing I was going to show you, just because I thought it was super cute, I was watching it before I got on here. Let me find it first here. Broop. Oh yeah. Okay, I wanted to show you guys the expression in Mystic Knight's face. Very funny. So she is pretty obvious. She's mild, but she's obvious. Okay. So, oh, here she is. Isn't she cute? So here's little Mystic Knight. She's a youngster. She's pretty young. But I want you to watch her beautiful little eyes. Okay. And her ear. This eye and this ear go together. Okay. So, when Leanne started up here, this is when she just started. Okay. Now watch that eye. I'll right here. Look at that eye and that ear. They go together. Okay. Almond shaped eye, ear slightly back. So this ear is just paying a lot of attention to her, right? But that eye is a little bit annoyed. Okay. So, and this is right on the forearm, right here. Okay. So let's just look at a couple more still shots. Okay. Same eye, same ear. She's ignoring there. Oh, so this one's not as intense. A little softer, little softer. She's ignoring there. Blinking. Okay. Now, what I want you to see, okay, so this is a funny one, is when Leanne goes from the foreleg down to the fetlock and cannon bone, that face completely changes. Look at that eyeball. Look at that big old doe eye. That you can't get a bigger eye than that. Okay. So, oh, look where she's back up now. Look at the eye went back to almond shape. Okay. And then doe eye, happy ear. Okay. Look at that. Doe eye, happy ear. Very interesting. Very mild. Okay. But that eye is significantly bigger. Okay. And that ear just completely relaxed compared to kind of up compared to that. Isn't that funny? Okay. So, and she didn't move. She didn't protest. She didn't swish her tail. She didn't throw her head. She didn't bite. But there is tension in this leg at the top. And there is not tension from the knee down. And then if you go to the other side, doe-eye. She's doe-eyed the whole time. Okay. So very fun. Go ahead and check out this video. I just put it up like 25 minutes ago. And I have my talk over the top of it. Okay. So I just thought that was cute. And then I'll do, I think you had another one. Oh yeah, Adobe. Yeah, right here. So I'll do that one later. Okay. Next, I wanted to show you what we're going to be doing for the month of January. Okay, here it is. The month of January. Join us for Fun with Fascia. Fun with fascia. Okay. Now, one more time. I just created that. I thought it was fun. All right. So, January, we were going to start the journey through the horse, but I will let you guys all in on some info. I'm switching platforms. I've kind of already mentioned it. They should have switched over all my stuff from Samcart to the new platform, and they still haven't done it. And now I'm getting like, it's going to be 3 weeks. So I don't want people to buy my clinic on my old platform and then have to switch, you know, a week later because I have switched over. So I'm going to move that to probably February. I hope if they get it done by then. And then I will release the new information to everybody. I'll get all of you guys set up on that already have the clinic set up on. It's just going to be a new login is all it's going to be. It's going to be super easy. So nothing crazy. But all your stuff will be moved over. So you won't need to worry about, you know, like, oh, I have to, you know, do anything like that. Yeah, Carrie.
I was actually gonna sign up like within the next couple days, but you're recommending don't do that yet.
I don't.
Just wait.
I mean,
Okay.
you can. You're just going to have to do a new login, which is fine.
Okay.
Because you'll have a whole month to look at it if you want to.
Okay.
So you certainly can. I just
Okay.
think it's it's a little kind of like shady when you buy something and then all of a sudden someone goes, hey, I need you to trade, change your login and now you have to go to this website instead, So that's the
Okay.
only reason, because I'm going to advertise that we're doing it again. And so I don't want new people who don't know me to be like, I just bought it and now I have to change, but you can if you want to. Okay. So yeah, fun with fascia. So for the month of January, we're going to do fascia stuff instead. It's going to be based off this book, which will be really fun. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Okay. So as I had already put up, most of you saw it, but I'll throw it up again just in case. This is the book we're going to be taking a look at. Okay. So you can check it out. I hope it's not $50. Sounds crazy. Okay. And then I might actually look into, maybe there's another version of it or something. I don't know. Or I think he has a website, whether it's still up and running, I'm not quite sure. Okay. Because he does say to go on my website and there's downloadable stuff. So I'll check that out for everybody. And if there is, that'd be cool. Okay. But what we're going to talk about today is, well, the whole thing is on fascia. So this whole study is on fascia. Okay. So what I want to talk about today are a couple definitions and really cool things that I found out about fascia and how it works and why it's important. Okay. So fascia is called the organ of form. The organ of form. Right? Skin is the largest organ in the body. I don't know what fascia is. It's got to be up there though, because it's around everything. Okay. And what it says is it is three-dimensional web that surrounds and defines the shape of everything in the body. Everything. Nerves, bones, arteries, veins, muscles, everything. Okay. This unified nature of fascia means that the entire body is interconnected from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet, and how from the deepest bone marrow to the skin. Okay, so we've looked at fascia before and we compared it to, I had some netting up, right? Do you remember the red stocking netting looked like? And then there was a pull in it. And you can see how that pull went all the way through the rest of that netting. Because that is how fascia works. It's a giant network of fascia. So when one part is influenced, it influences things in other parts of the body. Okay. So some issues that come are called, the problem comes when the strain reflects a disturbance somewhere far removed from the strain itself, and the therapist chases the symptoms rather than the cause. So we've talked about that. We've talked about secondary issues. This is probably a secondary issue. Now, one thing that you can, that's why the second massage is really important, because secondary issues go away really easily because they're not the primary issue. So when I come back for a second massage and most of the stuff is gone, but some of the stuff is still there, that tells me a lot. Okay. So secondary stuff goes away easier because it's not the primary problem. Okay. Now here's some definition stuff for you. Okay. We'll talk a little bit about fascia here. And it says fascia is a type of connective tissue that is composed of varying amounts of collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers. And it is suspended within a ground substance. So write down ground substance. Okay, made up of protoglycan and water. Mostly water. Okay, so there's collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers, all brought together by the ground substance. Okay. The collagen gives the fascia its tensile strength. So collagen is tensile strength. The elastin gives the elasticity. Depending upon the mix of these two fibers, the fascia can be considered to be extensible, as in the muscles myofascia, or have a more tensile strength, as in a tendon. So depending on how many of the collagen or elastin are put down in what amounts will tell you whether that is going to be really elasticity or really kind of more tensile, so tighter, stronger. Okay, because they're going to be put down in different amounts depending on where they're going and what they need to do. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. And then I'll throw these two in though, although I'm going to throw 3 more in just because they're mentioned a lot. I'm not going to remember them. I mean, I'll remember 2 of them, but anytime I mention ECM, it stands for extracellular matrix. That sounds like something creepy from a movie. Okay. ECM is extracellular matrix. And that is the environment outside the fibroblasts and reticular cells, which are the next 2 things I'm going to talk about. So fibroblasts, and you do hear that a fair amount in massage, just so you know, fibroblasts and reticular cells are responsible for providing the building blocks from which the collagen, elastin, and the reticular fibers are formed. Okay. So that they're the producers of those. So the fibroblasts produce the collagen, and the fibroblasts also produce the elastin. Okay. All right. So talking about fibroblasts, that's what this key little segue was. Fibroblasts react to mechanical forces by producing more procollagen, which is just collagen with protein. Okay. So they react to chemical forces that are telling it to produce more. It has been shown that fibroblasts sense strains in the environment, the ECM, and produce the appropriate amount of collagen, elastin, or reticular fibers for the strain. So the fibroblasts are like the brain of the injury or the strain. Okay, so fibroblasts are like, well, right here, we're going to need more collagen, just because we're going to need it to be strong, and it's got to have more protein in it, depending on the situation. Or it's going to say we want equal collagen and elastin, or we want more elastin so that it's, you know, like it flexes more. So lungs are going to have more elastin, surrounded by more elastin, right? Because lungs do this. You can't have them strained or they're not going to function properly. But anything with like a tendon or a ligament is going to have more collagen, because you don't want those flexing like the lungs. That's going to be a problem. Okay. Okay, so continuing on with that, while under strain, the fascial myoblasts will line up along the line of the strain, laying down their product, either collagen, elastin, or reticular fibers, or all 3. The fibroblasts react to a strain by producing more product to accommodate the need to resist the strain. So it's trying to help it, trying to support it, trying to heal it. If a large strain is detected, then more collagen than elastin will be laid down. So that's what we were just talking about. So if it's bigger damage, if it's more damage, it's going to use the stronger product, not the weaker, more elasticy product. It's going to use the stronger product. For small strains, more reticular fibers may be used. So reticular fibers, just for your notes, are a binding factor. Okay, so the elastin was for elasticity, the collagen was for strength, reticulars are for binding. Okay. When the nervous system adapts to the strain pattern, the movement algorithm, this one gets a little wordy. The movement algorithm regulated by the nervous system is altered to find the path of least resistance to accommodate the strain pattern. So we kind of know that. If you sprain your ankle, you do not walk normal, right? You kind of accommodate that strain. This new aberrant movement pattern can lead to training problems later in the horse's career that may be erroneously be attributed to some other issue. So that's just a side effect of that. But this is similar to when I talk about muscle patterns. Unhealthy muscle patterns. It's just when you're doing the same movement incorrectly for a long period of time. And I'm normally talking about muscles, but I think I should probably be including fascia because it sounds like the exact same thing. Okay. But when you're continuing to do the wrong movement for a long period of time, that becomes a negative muscle pattern. And then you have to break that muscle pattern and put it back to a healthy muscle pattern. Which Melinda's video with Mira is a good example. Actually, who was I just working on? Okay, I'll have some videos coming out of a horse that was like corkscrewing big time. Doing lateral flexion. Lateral flexion, you see it all the time. Lateral flexion is the biggest one you're going to see it in all the time. Because they're going to get that carrot, guys. They don't care how they do it. If you keep bending your horse around and they're not using the correct form to bend them around, that's fine. You're just creating negative muscle patterns. They're still gonna come around. It's just not gonna be in good form. Okay. Fascia as the organ of form, that's why it's called the organ of form, has been able to change shape to meet specific tissue needs for both strength and to accommodate complicated movements. While the fascia making up a tendon will have collagen and elastin fibers lined parallel to each other. So think about that. Parallel to each other to accommodate the direct pulling strain and the need for strength. So when they're running with each other, that's going to be a strength thing. So think about tendons, ligaments, those are going to run together because they're going to support each other. And they know there's going to be a strain coming this way. Okay. It says here tendons can hold approximately 2,000 pounds per square inch. That's kind of crazy. With how many tendon issues horses have, right? They have like like a cartoon, one tendon hanging and then a 2,000-pound weight at the bottom of it. I don't know. I think some horses have proven that to be incorrect, but who knows? A ligament's collagen and elastin will be more diagonally oriented to accommodate the twisting experienced by ligaments and joints. So that was interesting because you would think that ligaments would be parallel also, but they're diagonal. They're diagonal because of the twisting experience by ligaments at the joints. It's kind of interesting. It's going over a joint, it is going to move, right? And then he says, I want to emphasize that both of these actions, laying down the supporting tissue and moving along the strain pattern, are natural and healthy. That's good. Okay, this was really cool. The gel and sole relationship. So gel, G-E-L, and sole, S-O-L. Or sol, I don't know, sole relationship. Okay, now remember, we already talked about the ground. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up again. The medium, it's called a medium, that the collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers are deposited in is called the ground substance. That's kind of a weird name. So remember, the ground substance is kind of like the base for these things to live and function in. Water makes up 70% of the ground substance. And the collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers make up the remaining 30%. So the ground substance is 70% water. This comes into play a little bit later. Ground substance has the ability to change from a gelatinous state or gel state, gelatinous gel state, to a solute or sol state when under strained pressure. So there's a gelatinous state and a solute state. It is the ability of fascia to change state from gel to sol that is the working basis for myofascial release. Okay, so because it can change states, that's where this myofascial work comes into play. That is the goal of myofascial release, to change the state of the fascia. This sustained pressure could come from movement of the tissue as the body moves, as in stretching. Okay, so you can change fascia with stretching. Or it can come from the application of pressure from the therapist's hands in myofascial release therapy. So to release fascia, you can either stretch it to release it, or therapist, massage, or it's not massage, myofascial release. Okay. I did find it interesting that they said later, and I'll skip to it. It says, well, let's see. It says the pressure has to be sustained for a minimum time of 90 seconds or so for this process to occur, which accounts for the reason why massage consisting of the application of faster strokes does not greatly influence fascia. However, this 90-second is more of a guideline than a rule. So your faster massage may not influence fascia. That's kind of cool. This always reminds me of where you guys can unmute or write in the comments. Where are the two areas that I do a lot of fascia work? There's two main areas where it's pretty much, one of them I do both. Well, no, they're both going to be fascia. Thank you, Leanne. Point of hip is one of them.
Face,
What's that?
face.
Yep, the face. Face and point of hip are the two areas that I focus most of my fascia work on. Now, when you think about that, so when I'm telling you to work on the face, warm it up. That's what I say. Warm it up. Slow circles. Because there's no muscles on the forehead. So what are you doing? Okay. That's fascia. That's fascia. When this is pulled like this, that's fascia. What state is it in? Right? It's not in a relaxed state.
Also,
Okay, so what's that?
when their eyes are asymmetrical and their nose is asymmetrical, that's similar. You can get that to be even in a session, and people are always like blown away.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, and then the point of hip. What do we do on the point of hip? That's right. This isn't massage, guys. This is fascia work. We're just putting heat and warmth on the point of hip with a little bit of pressure. That's myofascia. And then what happens when you know you've done something? It melts like water. It melts like water. That's when I read that, I was like, no way. The grounding substance is 70% water. It feels like it feels like it's just dispersed when fascia releases. It feels like it just melted away. Okay. So I thought that was super cool. That's why, you know, all these different modalities are so important to learn. They're all similar, but there's just these little differences. So if you want to specifically focus on fascia, these fast, vigorous massages ain't going to be it. You're going to have to slow down, and you're going to find some horses like that more, don't they? Isn't that cool? Okay. Okay. So we already talked about that. Gel state, soul state. We already talked. Okay. There were some more words thrown in there. I'm not going to do that. No, we've got enough big words for today, I feel. Okay, soul state, the less solid state. Gel state is the more solid state of the two states, is the gel state. That's the more solid. The ground substance disperses trauma and helps the body to maintain a more rigid shape. That's the gel state. When the ground substance is in the soul state, the less solid state, it is a lubricating fascial layers, allowing them to slide with respect to each other, rather than creating cross links and adhering to each other. Okay, so the soul state. And then, okay, I'll give you one more word. I'm probably saying it wrong. Through the application of a mechanical force or a stretch, okay, so we do it or we get them to stretch, we can cause the ground substance to make a phase change from gel to soul. This change is called thioxotrophy. Thixotropy. I don't know if that's right. Thioxotrophy. Okay. In the soul state, a sustained pressure or strength or stretch can cause the collagen fibers to, number one, reorganize along the line of the strain or stretch. Reorganize. Two, allow more hydration in the tissue to occur. Hydration's always good, isn't it? Three, force collagen adhesions to release. Okay. Now, what I'm going to finish up with is injury, adaptation to injury, which is why, you know, is kind of what we're interested in. Adaptation to injury. When fascia is traumatized, for example, by a horse kick or falling, the fascia web may be damaged. Okay, and we've taken a look at that. I'll put that picture up on, if I still have it, on the group. Okay, this allows the swell with the water beyond the containment. Okay, so that's when swelling occurs, when there's damage, right? Swelling occurs. The fibroblasts will heal this injury by producing more pro-collagen. Okay, so collagen, remember that's the tougher one, and releasing it into the ECM, which results in the creation of more collagen and elastin fibers to fill in the break. Okay, so there's damage. The fibroblasts go, uh-oh, that's not good. And they start laying down collagen to strengthen it. Okay, and then they lay down, after it's strengthened, they lay down collagen and elastin. Now, what I thought was really cool is they had this photo here So there is an example of what happens when there's damage. Okay, so that you want it to be all going in the same direction, but when there's damage, it just lays down stuff to protect it. Okay. So that's when there's damage. So because this is immature and the weak cross links are easy to disrupt, doing any sort of massage or myofascia work on this area is not good. Because you're going to break that. It needs to heal. It needs to heal first. And if you go in there and you start messing with stuff, you're going to cause more damage. Contraindicated is the fancy word. So you might hear that. Vets will say it. Massage therapists will say it. It's contraindicated. That means don't do it. It's not good for it. You have to allow the fascia time to heal. Okay, initially the new collagen and elastin fibers will be irregularly arranged and randomly formed due to the force of swelling. So that's what that photo is talking about. That photo. Okay. This disorganized tissue is not as strong as the original tissue and is replacing and may be the cause of many re-injuries in horses as they go back to work. Well, we all know that, right? Same with muscles, same with muscles. In the presence of organizing force, such as a stretch or pull, the collagen and elastin fibers will align with that force to be organized along that line of force provided by the force. For example, this force for stretch could be the tension coming from the reticular fibers bridging a laceration and pulling it closed, which will direct the myofibroblast to lay down collagen along the line of strains provided by the reticular fibers. Stay with me here for a second. However, this may not be the optimal alignment for the tissue and may result in a weak and disorganized area in the fascia. This weak area will have a tendency to re-injure. The application of an organized stretch has to be performed before the collagen interfiber crosslinks become too strong and resist any reorganization. After this time, for instance, in the case of a scar, these crosslinks would have to be broken and new collagen organized with a stretch to provide an optimal tissue organization. In the case of a stress or strain that is long-lasting, for instance, a postural issue or a chronic shoeing problem, the collagen and elastin fibers will line up along the line of the strain to reinforce the fascial web and become thicker in those areas. Okay, so I didn't need to read that last part. So what that was saying there, injury occurs, blam, it needs to be secured. Okay, so collagen and reticular fibers and elastin are put down in whatever order, a jumbled mess. Okay, just so it can heal quickly. Okay, so it's supposed to be healed quickly. This needs time to heal. And then in order for this to go back to normal, stretch or manipulation has to occur in the proper form. So you want to stretch it and get it to line again. And some of this is going to crack and kringle. And then get it lined up again so that new fibers can lay in the proper direction to to get a full range of motion again. Okay. So scar tissue, same with scar tissue. So scar tissue goes like this. Whack. Okay. You need to leave it alone so that it can heal, but don't leave it alone for too long, because then it not only it gets stuck like this, right? It incorporates other things around it, doesn't it? Okay, so scar tissue and then the muscles around the scar tissue also get affected. So you have to kind of work that scar tissue, but you don't want to work it too soon or you're going to cause more problems. Okay, so it's kind of a tricky situation. You got to let it heal. This is when I always talk to a vet. When can I massage that? This sounds a lot like rehab for yeah, totally. Carol. It's rehab for anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, either muscle, tendon, ligament, whatever. Okay. So I thought that was super cool. So just because these, you know, the collagen and elastin have been put down to support something, it doesn't mean they're going to stay in that shape. They can, through manipulation, myofascial release, or stretching, they can go back to form the direction that they're supposed to be laid in. That's pretty cool. Okay. Okay. So then it was talking, that last sentence was talking about how if there is shoeing issues, I thought it was interesting that was brought up, or chronic shoeing problems, or postural issues, so posture problems. Because of those two things, and I'm gonna assume that there's more than just those two things. The collagen and the elastin will be laid thicker and heavier to support those issues. Okay. And when that happens, that can cause restriction and then probably future injury. Okay. Okay. This tissue buildup can restrict movement in those areas. Similar, this was cool. Similar to driving a car in a rut. Movement will be easier along these strained lines. Unfortunately, if this restricted movement pattern lasts long, it will be ingrained into the horse's nervous system as the body seeks a movement homeostasis by following the path of least resistance. Okay, horses are great at homeostasis. So are humans. Okay, so I love that analogy of the car and the rut. I don't know if any of you guys ever been in a rut, but it's like you ain't getting out of that. Like you can go through it with it, but you can't get out of it. So that was kind of cool. And you're gonna get stuck in that pattern. And then this was kind of an interesting example. They said a common example of this occurs in horses' girth area. The strain provided by the girth, an outside influence, by the way, pulling on the fascia will cause the body to lay down more tissue to support the movement there. Unfortunately, asking the horse to bend somewhere other than around this tissue can result in problems that are misinterpreted as attitude problem rather than a physical limitation. This can lead to a cinchy horse as well as the serratus ventralis shortening and restricting of the scapula. I just put a video up of the serratus ventralis if you haven't seen it yet. Today, this morning. Okay. So it says, this was kind of funny. Ask yourself, if it's smarter to retain an apparently efficient movement pattern or change it to a less efficient one. Fascia release work can remove these restrictions, giving the horse and the rider a fresh body to build on. So that's their claims for myofascia work, is that you can restore full range of motion if it's a fascia issue with stretching and myofascia work. So it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. And I do think that there is a lot of overlap between massage and myofascia, just because, you know, massage therapists go slow too. And they can also feel when muscles relax. So if you can feel when a muscle relax, you can feel when fascia relaxes. Okay. Any questions? Anything you thought was cool?
I had a comment. Whoops.
Nope, now you're muted. There you go.
Okay. I can't read unmute. Well, I had injured my shoulder a couple months ago. And so this was really cool because in the beginning, you can't move it and it's immobilized. And then eventually you have to start getting, you know, your full range of motion back. and then eventually your strength. So this really made sense to me because, I mean, I really didn't understand what I was doing, but I knew what I was doing.
Excellent point. You know, what's funny is I started this to read it to you guys and I didn't, but you just reminded me of it. It says, too often when our horses are injured, we follow the advice of butte and rest. Unfortunately, the lack of work implies in rest does not provide an organizing force for the repairing tissue. This can result in a random alignment of the collagen and the elastin that is weaker than the original structure. Once the horse goes back to work, the weaker part can break down with resulting re-injury. Okay, so that's what we were just talking about, is when you have an injury, it all kind of goes like this to heal. And then the way to fix it is stretching or myofascia. So when it heals completely like this because of butte and stall rest, and then you go right back to work, it goes, oops, and it breaks. So I, for some reason, you know, on the flip side of that, there are some knucklehead horses that when you turn them out, they are crazy. And so it's like hand walk. You got to hand walk them because they'll just do something dumb immediately. But that's why when I don't recommend anything for rehab because I'm not a vet, but vets do a lot of stall rest stuff, don't they? There's a lot of stall rest stuff, and I've never been a fan of it because I don't want them being crazy, right? So don't turn them out in the 5-acre pasture with their buddies, but put them somewhere. If you have a track system, that's the best, but put them somewhere that they can walk slowly. Okay, walk slowly. Because that's what this is talking about after it's healed for enough. My border horse, when I brought her here, I was massaging her every week because she was in a small pen and she didn't get worked. Her bones grew too fast for her tendons and ligaments. It's a problem in these halter horses, the way they're breeding them, okay? So her fetlocks were folding over forward. It was a very strange thing. I've actually seen it 3 times since then. So I had to come along and massage the forelegs to release those ligaments and tendons and muscles in the foreleg in order to and by the end of the massage, she's standing normal. So it was crazy, but I had to come out every week and do it. So I said to the owner, I said, she has to be somewhere she can move, like walk. She didn't ever walk. She never walked. She was in a pen, like a turnout. She had nowhere to go. So I said, she has to go somewhere that she can walk, a pasture. 2 weeks, 3 weeks being at my house, I did not massage her again because I have 5 acres. So she just walked around with my horses. That was the rehab, a pasture. There was no work on my part. I didn't do anything. It was simply turnout so that she could walk and use her muscles properly. So it was pretty crazy. Sue says, I have a soft tissue specialist who does not believe in stopping exercise to heal. My jiu-jitsu teacher doesn't either, although I wouldn't believe him on too many things. It says she provides myofascial release exercises in combination with ice. Exactly. Yeah. That's excellent. Ooh, you know what? I was thinking about trying to find someone who does myofascial release and interview them at the end of January. Maybe you should give me her info. Cause I mean, who cares if they're not horse people? I might try to find a horse person to do it, but think about that, Sue. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then she'll be like, "What are you talking about? That guy? He's a fraud." I'm just kidding.
I saw a special, it's been some time ago, on rehabbing. This guy had become very successful at rehabbing racehorse injuries in the water. And I would think that would be, you know, because then they don't have the weight, but they have the movement, so they can get that stretching in without the weight bearing.
Yeah, and that's work too. That's not easy. Water.
Yeah.
I saw a cool study about rehab where you take them. This was specifically for ligaments and tendons in the legs, but you walk them over different ground. So it was like a strip Part of it was sand, part of it was concrete, part of it was wood, part of it was gravel. And then it would just repeat it and you would walk them over all these different substances. And it made the legs stronger because it had to adapt to the difference in texture. It is really interesting. I don't know if that's still going on, but it's cool.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes on a saddle horse on their withers, there's a dry spot that no matter what kind of padding you use stays dry. Is that damaged tissue with the myofascial area?
You know what? Traditionally people were saying yes, and now saddle fitters are saying no. So I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. You know, the idea, which makes sense behind the dry spots on the saddles, is that it's pinching that area so that the sweat glands can't sweat. That's why it's dry, because there's too much pressure there. So then that tells you it's pinching there. But then I was talking to a saddle fitter and she's like, yeah, that's not necessarily true. And I was like, but I like that. That makes sense to me. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm going back and forth. Maybe that myofascia person will know. We'll find out. Any other questions? Anything you thought was cool? No? All right, awesome. That's all I have. That was a lot. Good luck to you and your notes. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Hope you guys have a great day and a happy new year.
Yeah.
Oh, homework? Check out the video on the serrate that I just put up. It's on a little white pony. It's on a little white horse. No, yes. I didn't put the name in, but it's the serrate video. It's kind of cool. I'll pull it up real quick so you know what it looks like.
Is that only on the class page or is that on your own page?
Does anyone know who saw it? Let me look it up and I'll find out. No, that was on my winning.
Okay.
Carrie, I'm gonna throw you onto our coaching page too.
Okay. I promise I'm joining soon. I was just
Yeah,
waiting
just
to get paid.
don't do anything crazy without us, okay?
Okay.
You have plenty of videos to watch, I'll be honest with you. So just take your time and watch
Okay.
all the videos of all the stuff. This one right here.
Okay.
The serrate serratus ventralis. Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So this is on the main site, the Winning Your Horse's Heart. Okay. So check out this video. This is your homework. Try one. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to try to palpate, because we've been talking about palpating. I want you to try to palpate the serrate. Now, a lot of times on horses, you can see the thoracic portion because it sticks out like a weird bubble. Okay. You can also see the thoracic portion when you bring the leg forward, because it'll kind of stick out. The cervical portion is harder to palpate. So see if you can differentiate. See if you can find it. There's muscles that go over the top of it, so you're not going to be able to feel the very top. And it inserts on the back of the scapula. So this is the scapula. This one inserts on the back of it. Okay. And then it inserts on the thoracic portion on all the ribs. Okay. And then the back of the scapula. So it holds the scapula on the body too. Fun fact. It also suspends the trunk in between the two front legs. Fun fact. Okay, so see if you can palpate that and see what your horses think about it. See if they relax, see if they enjoy it. You can take a look at that video and see how I did it. I kind of pushed up into the wither from the insertion of the cervical to release the cervical portion. And then the thoracic portion, I kind of scratched it and rubbed it and pushed on it. See what they think. Okay, there's your homework. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
Bye.
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 Bye.